Let's turn up the volume on Keith Sweat's story. Born under the summer sun of July 22, 1961, this Harlem-raised brother, Keith Douglas Sweat, became a legend in the world of R&B. He wasn't just riding the wave, he was one of the first surfers in the New Jack Swing movement. You know those smooth jams like, I Want Her, Make It Last Forever? Or maybe You Gotta Get Down to Make You Sweat? Yep, that's all Keith Sweat. But his flow goes way deeper than that. He's dropped 13 solo albums, enough to fill your playlist for weeks, and even got together with some other R&B heavyweights for 2 albums as part of the supergroup LSG. And listen closely, because Keith Sweat has an eye for talent too. He's the one who discovered the groups Silk and Kut Klose, so you gotta give props to the godfather of smooth for bringing those sounds to the world. Forget the 9-to-5 grind, Keith Sweat had a hustle in his soul. Before the music took over, he paid his dues. Nights were spent stocking shelves at Macy's, keeping the city looking fresh. Then he traded threads for Wall Street threads, starting in the mailroom at Payne Weber. But Keith wasn't one to be slowed down. In just 4 years, he climbed the ladder, landing a sweet gig as a brokerage assistant on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. Talk about a mover and a shaker. And his hustle didn't stop there. Keith even went on to supervise at the New York Mercantile Exchange. But the music, that's what truly called to him. He has an estimated net worth of $30 million. Financial challenges. In 2012, Keith Sweat faced financial difficulties, leading to the foreclosure of his Detroit property. Despite setbacks, he refused to let adversity define him. His resilience and determination allowed him to overcome these challenges. Keith Sweat's house. His stunning mansion in Georgia spans over 30,000 square feet. The house boasts 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, a home theater, a game room, a gym, and a spa. Awards, honors, and accolades. His contributions have been recognized through various awards, honors, and accolades. Lifetime Achievement Award. During the opening night of the Black Entertainment and Sports Lawyers Association, BESLA, conference in 2024, Keith Sweat was honored with the prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award. This acknowledgement celebrated his significant contributions to music and philanthropy. Early life. Born in the heart of Harlem, New York City, Keith Sweat's story starts not on a stage, but in the hustle of the city. His mama, Juanita Thompson, a hairdresser by trade, held it down for Keith and his 4 siblings after his pops, Charles Cryer, a factory worker, passed away in 1973. Respect to Ms. Thompson. Keith wasn't afraid of hard work. He paid his dues before the music came calling. This all sounds impressive, right? But for Keith Sweat, there was a different kind of music playing in his soul. The music that would make him a legend. Personal life. Let's shift gears and talk about love. From 1992 to 2002, Keith Sweat was booed up with Lisa Wu Hartwell. You know, the one who lights up the screen on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Together, they welcomed 2 sons into the world, born in 1995 and 1998. But Keith's family tree goes beyond that. He's also got 3 daughters, one with Tracy J, and another son named Joshua. Keith's a family man, for sure. Career. All right, let's rewind to the start of Keith Sweat's musical journey. Back in 1975, Harlem had a new crew heating things. A band called Jamila. This is where Keith Sweat cut his teeth as a lead singer. They weren't giants yet, but they were grinding, performing all over the tri-state area, hitting New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Jamila was the perfect training ground, with Larry Peoples on bass, Michael Samuels on guitar, and Walter Bradley laying down the beats. By 1984, Keith knew it was time to fly solo. He hit the New York City nightclub scene hard, letting his voice be heard. That hustle landed him a shot with Stadium Records, an independent label. They only got 2 official songs out of Keith, Lucky 7 and My Mind Is Made Up. But his talent was undeniable. Here's a little twist though. Even before his solo joints, Keith was already influencing the game. He co-wrote and co-produced a song called You Are the One for Me for the group GQ. This wasn't just any group. Mind you, one of the original members was Keith's uncle, Keith Sabu Cryer, Talk about keeping it in the family. Forget record deals. 1987 was the year Keith Sweat was discovered. Vincent Davis, a big name in the music biz, heard Keith's talent and knew he had a star on his hands. Vincent signed Keith to his label Entertainment Records. This label wasn't new to bringing the heat. They launched back in 1983 and were known for putting out hits like Pee-wee's Dance. Entertainment was backed by Elektra Records, a powerhouse in the industry. With that kind of support, Keith was ready to make his solo debut. In November 1987, he dropped his first album, Make It Last Forever. And let me tell you, it was a game changer. This album sold a whopping 3 million copies. The real magic came with the song, I Want Her. This track wasn't just a hit. It launched a whole new era of R&B, the New Jack Swing era. I Want Her climbed to #1 on the R&B charts and even cracked the top 5 on the pop charts. It was so good, it got nominated for a Soul Train Award. The success didn't stop there. Keith's next album, I'll Give All My Love to You, kept the momentum going, reaching #6 on the Billboard 200 chart. By 1991, he was already on his third album, Keep It Comin', which solidified him as a major force in R&B. Keith Sweat wasn't just a singer, he was a hitmaker and a star on the rise. In 1992, Sweat discovered the group Silk and helped craft their debut album, Lose Control, which hit #7 on the Billboard 200 album chart. 1993 was a double dose of Keith Sweat magic. First, he turned talent scout, discovering the Atlanta R&B group Kut Klose. Keith knew they were something special and produced their debut album, Surrender. That album launched their hit song, I Like, which soared to #8 on the R&B hip-hop charts. But Keith wasn't done there. He dropped his album, Get Up On It, in the summer of '94, and it became a mega hit, landing in the top 10 of the Billboard 200 chart. 2 years later, in 1996, he did it again with his self-titled album, hitting the top 10 once more. This is where things get legendary. Keith cooked up 2 of his biggest hits ever on this album, Twisted and Nobody. Twisted, featuring Kut Klose, climbed to #2 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart, and Nobody wasn't far behind, peaking at #3. These weren't just hits. They were chart-topping anthems that cemented Keith Sweat's place in R&B history, and his talents extended beyond his music. In 1996, Keith produced for another rising R&B group, Dru Hill. Keith Sweat, singer, songwriter, hitmaker, and starmaker. Keith Sweat had a busy year in 1997. He discovered a new group, Old School, and lent a hand with their debut album. He was also featured on their hit single, Am I Dreaming?, which included vocals from the R&B group Escape. That same year, Sweat joined forces with Gerald, Levert, and Gill to form the supergroup LSG. Their self-titled debut, Levert, Sweat, Gill, was a smash success, reaching #4 on the Billboard 200 chart and achieving double platinum status. The album included the hit single My Body. Sweat's solo career continued to thrive in 1998 with the release of Still in the Game. The album reached #6 on the Billboard 200 and #2 on the R&B/hip hop albums chart. It featured collaborations with Snoop Dogg on Come and Get With Me, which hit #12 on the Hot 100, and I'm Not Ready, peaking at #16 on the Hot 100. However, Sweat's chart dominance started to wane in 2000 with the release of Didn't See Me Coming. Unfortunately, none of the album's singles managed to crack the top 40. Keith Sweat's musical journey continued after 2002. His album Rebirth came out that year, featuring the single One on One. While it didn't top the charts, it reached a respectable position on the R&B hip-hop charts. Sweat kept releasing music throughout the decade. In 2008, Love You Better, featuring Keisha Cole, appeared on his album, Just Me. He later signed with Kedar Records and released Ridin' Solo in 2010, with the lead single Test Drive, featuring Joe. Beyond music, Sweat has broadened his horizons. Since 2007, he's hosted a nationally syndicated radio show called The Quiet Storm with Keith Sweat, known as the Keith Sweat Hotel, on WBLS in New York City. This program brings the quiet storm format, a smooth and relaxing R&B style, to listeners across the U.S. Thank you for watching. For more content like this, subscribe and click on the bell notification.